Hello there, people of the internet. So I went out and I got myself something, and it was an example of sight unseen because there was no images of it, but the description of it was pretty decent. So we're gonna go ahead and have a look at it. So I went out and I got myself a Bersa Thunder. What I do is I like lowball a bunch of different online auctions just to kind of see if I get anything that sticks. And every now and then I'll get something that sticks. And I think that this particular one stuck because there's no photographs of this particular item. So this Bersa Thunder 380, for those who don't know what it is, it's pretty much a Makarov that is in 380 ACP. Now 9mm Makarov is fairly common out there on the market, but I specifically wanted something that was similar to a Makarov in 380 ACP just because I've already got 380s and I've already got 380 ammunition. I might go out and get myself like an FEG Makarov, like one of those two-tone ones, just because I like the way that they look. And if I do that, then I'll have myself a 9x18 Makarov in the collection. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't really have a need for a 9x18 Makarov. It's not something that I would take out and run regularly. I get that I'm a collector, but I collect rifles more than handguns. Like, handguns just don't really do it for me. So, as a result, I don't really put them on the channel all that much. But every now and then, I'll find myself in possession of a new one. So today, we're going to have a look at this Bersa Thunder 380. So, it came in this fantastic looking little box right here. Wonderful. Sure am glad that I have that. That's going to go great in my garbage can. Okay, so here's our actual Bersa Thunder 380. This right here is used, and I mean, it looks good for what that's worth. You can definitely tell that it's been shot a bunch because the end of this gun is empty, by the way. I've already checked it, made sure it was empty. All of the safety precautions and whatnot on this have already been performed, and there's nobody and nothing in that direction, so it's fine for me aiming the firearm like this. But the muzzle on this, the finish on it, is quite worn. So either somebody did some smacking with this thing, or they've shot this quite a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say it was probably shot quite a bit. How dirty is this bad boy? Alright, that's not too terrible. Definitely not the worst that I've seen, but it has definitely been shot, and that is for sure. It was likely cleaned before it was sold. So what this is essentially a Makarov. The Makarov is like a scaled up PPK. If you don't know what a Makarov is, it's essentially a scaled up PPK chambered in 8 or 9x18 Makarov, and that bullet diameter is different than the 9x19 that we all know and love, which is why a 9mm, 9x19, 9mm Parabellum, 9mm Luger chambered handgun will fire both 9mm and 380, which is 9x19 and 9x17, but that different bullet diameter means it will not fire 9x18, and I hate that that's the case. So looking at this thing, this is exactly what I was expecting it to be. Is this the first time I've handled one of these? I think this is the first time I've actually handled one of these and looked at it. I never really had much interest in getting myself one of these, but hey, now I have one in the collection. It's essentially a 380 Makarov. So it is both double action, just gonna go ahead and confirm, yep, that is clear. It is both double action and single action. Fantastic. And I imagine that it functions exactly the same way that a Makarov would. Is that barrel fixed? Yep, that barrel is definitely fixed. Since this has a fixed barrel, fixed barrels, since they don't move around, they have the potential to be extraordinarily accurate. However, that being said, these are particularly cheap handguns, so I'm not expecting them to be extraordinarily accurate. Alright, slide release. It is in a very standard area. Magazine release, little push button, also in a very standard area for what I am used to. I'm not sure if Makarovs have a heel release down on the bottom of the magazine. I don't think that they do. I think that they're also push buttons if memory serves me correctly, but I'm sure that there's some countries out there that have made them like that. So sights, it's those 3-dot sights that you see on a lot of self-defense handguns. I really like the beaver tail on this thing. Actually, I really like the way that this thing grips and the way that it holds. I'm definitely going to take this out to the range and test it out. Let's go ahead and check rifling. Shine it on my light right there. Yeah, rifling looks pretty good. Definitely been used. It's definitely been used, but I don't think that we're going to lose enough accuracy for that to really matter. So our safety is right here on the side of the slide. That's a very, very stereotypical, common thing to see. I wonder if it's got a decocker, though. I'm going to flip the safety. No. Oh, yep. There it goes. So it does have a decocker. It's just a little crunchy. So there might be like some pocket lint or something in there left over from the last guy who had this thing. So the reason why it's good to have a double action, single action defensive carry handgun is so you can walk around with the hammer down, and the hammer down means that you have to have a nice long trigger pull in order to fire off that first round. That first round's probably going to be inaccurate, but after that first round fires and the hammer is cocked from the cycling of the action, now you have very nice, fast, accurate follow-up shots. So if you can manage to keep that first double action round on target in the heat of a moment, then you should have no problems following up with some fairly decent accuracy shots with the gun in single action mode. I'm not sure how many rounds this thing holds. We're going to say probably 8. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's got 7 witness holes, or 6 witness holes plus the round that's going to be on top. So that's 7. And then 1 in the chamber, so yeah, 8 rounds. That's about what I was expecting. So for the amount of money that I spent on this, even if it has like a broken extractor or a broken firing pin or something, I still think that I came out on top. Extractor looks fine. Firing pin, I can see the tip, so I think that's going to work fine. If I push that firing pin out a little bit, oh yeah, that's coming through just fine. So this might actually work, assuming that it's going to be even remotely reliable. The one thing I like about getting used guns is they tend to be more reliable than new guns if you go out and get yourself like the dirt cheap versions of guns. And that's because if they are used, they've more likely been put through their break-in period already, and this one's already been shot a bunch. So I'm betting that this one right here is probably going to be pretty decent. I can see the wear marks around the muzzle just from firing of this thing. So yeah, that's actually really cool. I'm glad to have this in the collection. It looks like our front sight is dovetail and adjustable for windage, and our rear sight is also adjustable for windage with a screwdriver if you don't want to smack the dovetail of your front sight. We have serrations up top to help prevent sun glare, which is good because here in Florida it gets very sunny and very bright. As far as the serrations on the sides of the slide go, that's not awful. I will admit that's not awful for how small of a handgun this is. The trigger itself, single action, single action, single action is pretty spongy. It's not what I would enjoy. Double action though, I like this double action trigger. As far as double actions go, that is consistent. It's very, very long, but it's consistent. I didn't feel any walls or anything that I had to like break my my trigger finger through. So that felt actually very good. Slide stop itself, okay, well, I mean, it works. Not a whole lot of pressure holding that slide back though, but I imagine that's because this is a 380 ACP handgun. So I like this. I'm actually very pleased with this. It's cool to have one of these in the collection. A little Makarov PPK clone in 380, which is awesome because I've already got 380 stuff. So yeah, I like this a lot actually. I'll have to look at the twist rate on this. It's either going to be, I'm sure it's going to be like a 1 in 10 or something. So that should be able to run most of the bullets that I come across, but I'll look it up. So there we go. There's my little review of my Bersa Thunder 380. We're going to take it out to a range. I'm going to make a part 2 of this video. I just can't do that today. and I wanted to open it up and look at it, and I figured, hey, why not put the camera up? So we are going to go to a range. We are going to test this thing out, see how reliable it is, see what kind of ammo it likes, see what its group sizes are, etc., etc. So that'll be a part 2. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.